Why Sierra doesn't feel like an Overwatch hero.
Xion and Sierra released close together. One became instantly iconic, one basically disappeared.
Yeah,
Why?
pretty much.
Sierra has every component that should make an Overwatch hero cool. Super soldier lore, drones, a grapple hook, and a direct connection to Overwatch. So why does Xion feel instantly iconic while Sierra feels like she was added and then nobody cared?
I think it's really the kit. Xion's kit is so fun and fluid. I don't know what it is about Sierra's kit that just doesn't feel right. Like, I understand what they try to do with the grappling hook, but it just doesn't feel right. And then the grenade is not really much of a grenade. It doesn't feel like a grenade. Like, I don't know what it is about Sierra's grenade that doesn't allow me to have much fun with it. It really isn't. It's not your average grenade, and it honestly kind of feels weird. If I were to change anything about Sierra, I would try to change the grenade first.
Key factor missing is one that Overwatch usually does extremely well. Sierra has terrible hero fantasy. Overwatch at its foundations is built upon hero fantasy.
I don't think that's
Players
the case.
gravitate to a hero based on so many factors.
I don't think that's it, but that, I mean, it's sort of a good point, but I don't think that's it either. I genuinely do think it's our kit.
Their nationality, if they're a cool robot dude, an edgelord, an evil killer robot, or a hamster in a mech suit. What that hero does and what that hero stands for is a huge reason why so many people pick a character. If you see a cool cyborg ninja, then you look at what they do, and they're double jumping, dashing into enemies, and pulling out an awesome cyberblade. Obviously, you'll want to play them. The problem with designing a hero in a hero shooter is that if the hero fantasy fails, that hero just faceplants to the ground and no one cares. This is what I believe happened with Sierra. A hero needs to be clear as to who they are and what they represent just by looking at them. They have to display how they're cool just from the hero select screen or by watching their gameplay, and they should convey how the gameplay should feel, be it precise shots with Widowmaker,
it just seems so boring,
or power with Doomfist. Before we get to why Sierra doesn't land, it's worth looking up what Overwatch looks like when this works perfectly. I think a good Overwatch hero has to pass 3 tests: who they are, why they are cool, and what should playing them feel like.
Tracer!
Tracer has her chronal accelerator strapped to her chest, bright orange leather trousers marked with her name, and
I was about to say, before the picture popped up, I was going to say, like, Tracer. There's a reason Tracer was the poster girl.
The color palette works together really well, and her design tells her story whilst nodding to her abilities. Just ignore her weird croc things, we don't talk about those. She's a core member of Overwatch, an experimental fighter pilot lost within time, saved by Winston, who now uses that same temporal instability to her advantage. This carries directly into her gameplay. She has 3 blinks for traversal, recoil pulls her back in time, her pulse pistols are fast SMGs built around speed, and her pulse bomb gives her quick burst damage potential. That fluidity within her kit is the reason Tracer became the face of Overwatch 1. Doomfist is another example of fantasy and gameplay lining up. Doomfist works for the same reason. He's a tactical genius with a giant gauntlet that can destroy a skyscraper, within lore at least. When you punch someone into a wall, slam down and create an opening for your team, you feel the power and the impact. His kit, design, and story all sell the same fantasy. He passes the test.
The fucking uppercut, dude. He uppercutted. That's actually sad to see that gone.
You're competing with overly energetic time pilots, evil killer robots, cyborg ninjas, and a cat in a jetpack. With Sierra, it feels like
fuck that cat, dude. I hate seeing that character. That character should have never been added to the game. I fucking said it. Yes, the character is cute. Yes, it's fluffy. But do I care? No.
They added Steve from
Infinitely flying characters
Steve from
so
Barnes & Noble
fucking
would at
lame.
least have been ironically funny. Xion is an Omnic Yakuza boss and a leader of the Hashimoto clan. She gained sentience during a very violent time in Kanazaka and was captured by the Hashimoto. She was used as a training dummy, beaten, damaged, and essentially tortured until her persona broke. Now she's probably the evilest villain we've seen in Overwatch. Everything about her screams
I had no idea.
She screams when she's nanoed by Anna.
You need to learn to relax.
And she has a mini episode of hatred when she eliminates herself on the enemy team.
You worthless bot. Get up.
She dons a white suit and her bangs subtly cover her Omnic face.
I've never even known all this lore.
Demon horns that convey her evilness.
I just be playing the game
and wields her dual pistols at all times. Before you even pick her, you understand her character. She has a motorcycle she can drive around and repel at enemies after a charge up time, along with a dash that feels literally straight copied out of Cyberpunk 2077. Her ultimate has her going crazy in third person with mini projected Reaper Death Blossoms. Her dash and motorcycle can be mixed seamlessly within gameplay to create great mobility in creative ways. You have 2 ways to use the motorcycle for damage. She's great to play from the onset, and there's no misunderstanding why she's so beloved. She looks cool, she plays cool, and her gameplay follows her hero fantasy perfectly. That's the difference. Before you know how strong Xion is, you understand her hero fantasy. She's a violent cyberpunk Omnic crime boss, and the kit immediately sells that too.
What an idiot. Did that guy really not grab the health pack? Come on.
She's a member of Helix, the same company that Farah is a part of. She's clearly military in some form, but with only a little nod on her jacket showing that she's a part of it. And realistically, who actually knows the Helix logo? In the lore, Sierra's mother is essentially the first prototype soldier in the same super soldier program that later gave us people like Soldier 76 and Reaper. Her mother, Kendra, is Soldier 00. So Sierra joins Overwatch to get information. She also joined Helix to gain information. And according to the lore, she succeeds because she's skilled. Her interesting lore connection feels more interesting from her mother's point of view than her own. If you told me Overwatch was adding Soldier 00, the original prototype soldier, that sounds instantly more interesting. But that's Sierra's mother. Sierra is the person trying to uncover details about Soldier 00. It almost feels like her mother should have been added instead. The most interesting story isn't even her own. And to be clear, Sierra's representation is not the problem here at all. Overwatch has had great heroes from all around the world. The issue is that Sierra's fantasy, design, and abilities just don't come together strongly enough to make her instantly compelling.
I don't even think it's that. I just think her gameplay, like, I think, like, yeah, sure, hero design and hero, hero fantasy come into play when it comes to being a popular hero. But ultimately, people will play the character regardless of all that, whether they have fun with the character. For instance, I don't like Junker Queen's personality a lot. I don't like Junker Queen's story a lot. Like, I honestly just don't care about the character at all. But the character is actually really fun to play. I enjoy playing Junker Queen. I wish she was more of a picked hero and that the devs showed her some love in the patch notes. I think this guy's overcomplicating it a little bit. I genuinely think that if the kit is fun, the hero will be played regardless of the fantasy or anything like that. Because I think Junker Queen is really fun to play while being such a boring character.
Sierra's design and kit don't sell one clear fantasy. Her gun looks quite cool, but it isn't immediately descriptive of what it actually does. It doesn't clearly look like a rifle or even anything specific. It could be a sniper or a rocket launcher for all we know. Her red beret and multicolored long hair look great for show, but they don't capture anything at all about her character, her ambitions, or even what she does. From first impressions, she looks military, but she's very generic even at that. Soldier 76 and Sojourn are generic soldiers on paper, but Soldier has the old brash veteran fantasy, and Sojourn has this cybernetic confidence about her and leadership skills. Sierra doesn't really have that extra hook. She has a drone on her arm, but honestly, it doesn't even really look like a drone. Imagine if, like in her concept photo, the drone floated with Sierra at all times. That'd make for a much more interesting character and silhouette. Sierra has aspects that contribute, but they don't convey enough hero fantasy. A jacket with 00 to show her connection to her mother, and a Helix logo on her chest. These don't actually convey her character or allegiance strongly enough, especially when you don't know anything about her lore. Tracer's Chronal Accelerator hints at what she does. Doomfist's Gauntlet tells you what he does. Shion's pistols, bikes, horns, and suit, and Omnic design tell you what she is. Sierra's design has pieces of her character, but they aren't as instantly captivating as other heroes. And
I get what he's saying.
Carries heavily into her ability.
I just don't think it's that big of an issue.
A drone that she sends out that lets you shoot up and off it twice. In a way, that's possibly the most boring grapple hook design I've ever seen in a game. If they had just made it much more like Wrecking Ball's grapple, it would have been far more interesting. She has a grenade that's somehow the most uninteresting grenade in Overwatch.
It is an uninteresting grenade.
Upwards. Her right click is tracking shot.
You can't even kill anybody past the wall. I think that's why the grenade feels weird, is that, like, typically, if you're trying to finish somebody off with a grenade, you don't have to have direct line of sight. With this grenade, you do. I think that might be one of the reasons why her kit just doesn't feel right.
Aim on the target hit. It offers poor interactivity into the game. After the initial shot, you don't do anything unique or different. It doesn't bend around walls or angles, it just attaches, and then you hold left click to shoot at the target with very little thought involved.
This auto aim shit is really annoying too.
It's basically
like,
aligned with
not annoying, but like boring
feels
annoying.
Like a mishmash of abilities rather than a fun continuous flow like you have with Shion. You don't angle your grapple like Wrecking Ball. You don't have to aim the grenade like a sticky grenade. You literally don't do anything after hitting a tracking shot. And with her ultimate, you just throw it down to blow up a single directional area. Her abilities don't make you think much differently when using them. There's a reason she has a reputation for being a spam the choke type character. Shion's kit connects and flows together. Her bike flows perfectly into
Shion's kit's so fucking fun.
Pistols after launching a bike.
It's a shame that they nerfed her the way they did with like
dashing around him. This is a very clear gameplay flow that is very similar to heroes like Tracer or Genji. This is lacking with Sierra. There's some flow with her grapple into grenade, but it's much more limited. Her grapple is too uninteresting to make you think about how to use it. Her grenade is almost as simple as it gets, and tracking shot has so little thought within it, you might as well fall asleep. These feel like separate buttons that don't flow into one clear hero fantasy. The annoying thing is, I don't even think Sierra would be that much harder to make cooler. What if her grenade was a drone that bounced off walls and surfaces? or acted like a mine that blocked areas? What if her grapple acted like wrecking balls, allowing you to propel yourself or perch on walls even? What if her tracking shot was more like a skill shot, where tagging an enemy gave a debuff or an extra damage multiplier if you hit the drone on the target instead, making you shoot the drone with aim rather than letting the game play for you? I think most abilities should often try to connect with each
I don't know. I really don't know what you would do with Sierra to fix this. I think you just have to redesign the whole kit.
in a way that flows or fits a nice gameplay purpose. A mine that controls an area, with a skill shot that forces people away without playing itself, and an ultimate that denies an area would work very well, allowing her to perch up in mid-range and control the fight. The hero fantasy for Tracer is great, the hero fantasy for Xion is perfect, whereas the hero fantasy for Sierra just isn't there. Few people would look at Sierra and Xion and pick Sierra, because Sierra has been undersold. The developers rarely miss the goal when setting Sierra up for the future, and the issue is that once you release a hero into the world, it's very hard to rehabilitate that hero into being cool in people's eyes. And it's really disappointing because Sierra could have been a very cool hero, but unfortunately I just don't think they stuck the landing. At the end of the day, Xion works because her hero fantasy is immediately obvious and her kit flows so well, whilst Sierra's hero fantasy is hidden in a comic and her kit is disconnected. But what do you guys think? If you were to redesign Sierra, how would you go about it? If you enjoyed this video,
I would completely scrap the character and make a new character. I really don't think there's any recovering the way Sierra feels. And that's one thing that Overwatch will never get right, is that when a character comes out and it's like horrible for the game, or it's horrible for like just in general, it's a terrible kit, and it just doesn't flow well, they refuse to go back on the things that make it bad. For instance, this guy's talking about hero fantasy, but like, if we're talking about hero fantasy, this character's lame. I think Hazard is one of the lamest characters they ever added to the game. He's a leader of a gang, okay, so what? And then his complete design is awful. He just looks awful, and he's a terrible hero to play against. It's just overkitted. Moira's like hero fantasy, I guess it's okay. Like it sort of makes sense. It shows you the doctor behind the fucking Reaper and shit like that, but at the same time the gameplay is just boring. There's nothing fun about it. Like it's just the Moth character. It literally does nothing. It's one of the most useless heroes they ever added to the game. It does nothing but provide healing. That's it. That's all she does. And that she stays alive. But there are very rare cases that you would ever use this character if you're actually trying to be useful to your teammates. Another character that falls a victim to the whole hero fantasy, and their kit is terrible, but nobody talks about him, Lifeweaver. Lifeweaver just needs to be taken out of the game as well. I said it. Literally does nothing for anyone other than pull your tank or your DPS unintentionally all the time. It's just a really bad design. Yeah, I genuinely don't think there's any saving Sierra. I think you just restart from the beginning, start from scratch.